Hi everyone, I'm Frank Daniels, and you're watching Football DataLab. We work with a database of over 30,000 active professional players across more than 80 performance metrics. Today, we're looking at who crosses the ball in modern football, how they do it, and just how much position and preferred foot actually matter. What you're seeing here is the distribution of successful crosses per season among wide players. The sample covers more than 3,000 individuals. The picture is striking straight away. The vast majority of wide players complete somewhere between 0 and 20 accurate crosses in a season. That's your typical professional wide player. That's the norm. But the tail stretches a long way to the right. A small group of players consistently delivers 70, 80, sometimes even more successful crosses from wide areas across a full season. That immediately raises a question. What's driving those numbers? Is it position? Fullback, wingback, classic winger? Is it the preferred foot, which shapes the angle and trajectory of every delivery? Or is it some combination of the two working together? Okay, we've seen the overall picture on crossing. Now let's look at how We've worked out who crosses more often. Now let's look at where it's done most effectively. The chart covers almost 2,000 wide players across 8 leagues, measuring accurate crosses per season. England and Germany lead the way. That's no coincidence. One explanation is tempo and width. In the Premier League and Bundesliga, teams open up the flanks faster, fullbacks push forward aggressively, and wingers face fewer defenders in front of them. Another factor is tactical structure. Clubs in these leagues more often build attacks through the width rather than through the center, meaning every cross is a deliberate choice, not a last resort. At the bottom of the table sits Spain. Fewer crosses attempted, fewer reaching their target. A style where the ball lives lower and longer simply leaves less room for the delivery. Okay, that covers the league context. Now let's look at how foot strength.
Leagues gave us the geography. Now let's see who actually owns this tool on the pitch. The chart shows average successful crosses per season, broken down by position. The sample covers almost 3,300 players. One thing jumps out immediately. Left backs and left midfielders lead by a clear margin over their counterparts on the right. One explanation is positional. In modern systems, a wingback is essentially required to cross. It's his primary function, not a fallback option. The other explanation is tactical asymmetry. Many teams build the left flank as a delivery zone, freeing the right side for combination play and runs into the box. What's also striking is that traditional right wingers cross less than their mirrors on the left. That's not a coincidence. It reflects how the role of the inverted attacking player has fundamentally changed. Okay, that covers the positional breakdown. Now let's look at how foot strength
We've covered who crosses and from where. Now the final question. Does a player's preferred foot actually matter? The sample here is almost 2,600 wide midfielders. There is a difference between the groups, but it's surprisingly small. Right-footed players land in roughly the same accuracy range as left-footed ones. Two-footed players sit slightly higher, but they're a much smaller portion of the sample, and that caveat matters. One explanation is that modern coaching has leveled the gap. Clubs deliberately work on a winger's weaker foot. Another explanation is that foot isn't the real variable. Position is. An inverted winger crosses with his strong foot from an awkward angle, while a traditional wide player uses his natural foot from the flank. Average accuracy converges, but the mechanics are entirely different. The conclusion is straightforward. Foot preference alone doesn't determine crossing quality. Context, position, tactics, the moment, outweighs any physical attribute. If this kind of analysis interests you, subscribe, and we'll be back in a few days with more breakdowns from the same dataset.